Hey guys, welcome back to Cooking with Earl. Today I'm going to show you something near and dear to my heart, which is making a flavored butter for porterhouse steak, which is my favorite steak you can possibly buy. I actually have one right here that I'll be cooking up a little bit later, but if you've ever been to a high-end restaurant and you've gotten that great grilled steak, comes out, you can smell it as they're walking down the aisles, and you look on top of it and they got that hunk of butter right there, that herbed, garlic, rosemary butter. I'm going to show you how to make that homemade right here in my kitchen today. And if you'd like to get steaks like this, you can click the link below my video, go to Savory Butcher, and order your own. You know, Savory Butcher was founded with the intention to provide farm fresh meats in bulk to the communities of America at the best possible value, and that's why I use that in my kitchen. But today, I'm going to show you how to make homemade butter by yourself, and you can do it with a machine just like this, which is a blender with a dough attachment to it, or you can do it with your own KitchenAid and a whisk. You know, when I was a kid, I'd go back to Arkansas and I'd see my grandma, and I remember vividly going out there those early mornings, and there's a family that lived over across the draw, and I'd run out there barefoot and go rushing up to their house, and they'd be churning butter with an actual churn just like this. And I remember sitting there helping them churn that butter with that old wooden churn, and inside they'd be making homemade fresh bread, and they'd put that butter on it, and I'm telling you, there was nothing better in the world to me. As a kid, I loved it, and I always think about that. So I started making my own homemade butter and making flavors with the butters that I can use with some of the awesome proteins that I cook here on my show. So we're gonna get started. What you need is regular heavy whipping cream. You want something with a fat content in it, so I use heavy whipping cream. This is about 40% milk fat, and we're gonna put 2 cups of this right over here into my Ninja blender. Look how thick that is. Good old heavy whipping cream, sweet cream butter. So we're gonna put 2 cups right into this. Wow. I love homemade butter, you guys, especially the smells. If you're a baker, you do things like that, there is nothing better in the whole wide world than homemade butter. Okay, we'll set this right back over here. Put the cap back on there because I'm notorious for spilling this stuff. And now we want to flavor the butter. So we're going to put it on a porterhouse steak, and there's nothing I like better than garlic butter on a steak. But if you add some of these things like rosemary and some of the salt, you're going to finish it off, and your friends are going to be blown away. And it's not like going and buying a $4 1-pound thing of butter and melting it down in your microwave and throwing in some seasonings. This is the ticket, you guys. So I'm going to grab a teaspoon of granulated garlic. I'm going to put 2 level teaspoons into this whipping cream. Now you're thinking, ugh, that doesn't sound like good whipping cream, but it's going to be good butter. We're going to put that right in there. We're going to take rosemary, and we're going to put 1 teaspoon of rosemary. Rosemary's got that great flavor. It really accentuates the meat. So we're just going to put 1 teaspoon in here with this. And then I've got some Himalayan sea salt here, and I'm just going to put a half a teaspoon in. Now this is to taste. A lot of people like to season their meat, and they don't want that extra salt in there and stuff like that. So you can do whatever you want. But I find that I like to add just a little bit of salt. So I'm just going to use half a teaspoon and put it right in here into the heavy whipping cream. Put the lid back on that, and the lid back on this. And this is how simple it is, you guys. We're just going to put the lid on. We're going to start it off slow. We aren't going to start really fast going into a mad whip, because I want to start incorporating all of this in there. So I'm going to start my blend a little bit slow. It's going to run for about a minute, and then I'm going to turn it up to a higher level, and then I'm going to hit all the way up on the crush level, which is the fastest level that it goes at. And you'll actually start seeing the butter form and little chunks start coming up, and then you'll end up with the byproduct, which is buttermilk. And I'll show you in some later videos exactly what I do with that, because we don't waste anything here when you're cooking with Earl. So let's get started. All right, guys, so this has been running for about 2 minutes now on high speed. I just want to show you how it looks. So what we've got right there is basically, it looks like whipped cream, but this is actually an over whipped cream. And I'm going to take this, you can see the consistency of it. Oh man, you can smell that rosemary, that garlic. And it's starting to get that butter flavor. Oh, that's good. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and put it back on. We're probably about 2.5 minutes away because this is starting to go. And what you'll end up seeing You see how white it is right there? This will start separating and you'll end up with the buttermilk on the bottom and you'll start seeing little curds come, which will end up forming into butter. So we're gonna go ahead and get back, but I wanted to show you how that looks as we're going along. All right, so this has been running for about 4.5, 5 minutes here. I wanna show you guys what's happening now. And you can actually see, look at the butter forming. And down there, you see the buttermilk deep inside. Oh, that smell is so good. You know, one of the reasons I like to use whipping cream is because you end up a lot more butter than you would using just milk. Can you do it with milk? You can. All it's doing is separating the milk fats out and creating butter, and then you end up with buttermilk. So we're just gonna give it just a little last minute whip here, and then we're gonna be done, and I'm gonna show you how we form the butter. Okay, it's butter time. We're gonna take a look at this. Oh my gosh, that looks good. You get the buttermilk just coming off right there. Wow, this made a lot of butter. Just 2 cups of heavy cream, of whipping cream, and we've got a bunch of butter in there and not a ton of buttermilk. So that tells me this was some good quality stuff. So I'll just set that right there. And I think, you know what? I'm gonna use the buttermilk to actually marinate some of the meat in, so I'm gonna save that, and we'll just go ahead and put this right here. We'll grab a colander. We'll set that in there. And now, we are going to pour this out. Okay, so you saw me make the butter, and it dawned on me, I actually didn't show you how to form the butter. So I came back today, it only takes 10 minutes or so to make it. So I made some more, and I wanna show you exactly how I form this all up and make my butter balls. So we're gonna get the buttermilk going through here, through the strainer. And we'll pull this butter out. Oh boy, man. Oh, that smells so good. I love the color of homemade butter too. You know that there's nothing added to it, no extra colors, fillers, whatever. It just is what it is. Look at this beautiful, beautiful butter. So what you didn't see in the other video, which I'm showing you now because I made another batch, is I'm gonna take this butter and I'm just gonna start squeezing that buttermilk out, and you can see it coming out between my fingers. I'm just gonna squeeze it down. It goes right through the strainer. I'll use the buttermilk because it's homemade and fresh. I'll use that on some chicken later. So waste not, want not. But I just take and can squeeze this butter down, and I'm gonna end up with a beautiful, beautiful garlic rosemary butterball. And I use this all the time in cooking because I love to cook with butter and olive oil, butter and olive oil. So I just keep squeezing this. You can see, if you look, if you can see my hands, you can actually see the milk coming out. This buttermilk. It kind of splatters around. But here's what I do. All I do is I take and I pull off a piece like this, and I'm just gonna make butter balls that I can use whenever I want. So I can keep it in my fridge, have it nice and chilled. If I wanna make garlic bread, I can use these. If I wanna use it on steak, I can use these. And I just make these little butter balls. Now, if I'm not gonna be using it right away, sometimes I will take, like at home, I'll actually take and freeze them. And then whenever I want some, I'll just take them out and boom, I'm good. So this is all that I do. I squeeze it down, I'm getting that buttermilk out of there, then I'm just gonna form up some balls, just like that. And the better you squeeze them out, the longer that they're gonna last. So you don't wanna leave that buttermilk in there. But you can see in here, I got fresh buttermilk. In here, I got fresh butter. And I'm gonna grab a bowl scraper, clean this out, but that's all you do, you guys. You can flavor butter any way you want, but this is rosemary garlic, homemade, fresh churned butter. Enjoy, we'll see you next time. Make sure you like and subscribe down below.